What's up, Donte Greene? How you doing?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Thanks for joining. Thanks for agreeing to come on my podcast.
Oh, yeah. No problem, man. No problem.
Yeah, first of all, happy birthday to your son, Dallas, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, how is your family doing and you doing during this tough situation?
We're actually doing pretty good, you know. Just staying in the house. Thankfully, my fiance, she can work from home.
Yeah.
So just be having the kids, make sure they get their work done on their little Zoom stuff and their Zooms and Google Classrooms and everything. So and over that, just hanging out, enjoying the time off.
Nice. So with the viewers just joined us, if you don't mind, can you take us back a little bit to your background story and your journey getting to and when did you get interested in the basketball career, in your basketball career?
Man, I mean, when you want me to start at the beginning?
Yeah, like in the beginning.
Well,
yeah, I've been following you for a long time, so I know about your story. But
okay. Well, originally, I was a baseball player. I didn't start playing basketball until I was about 13 years old, and moved back to Baltimore. And being from Baltimore, I mean, you gotta play basketball. That's like the number one sport.
Yeah.
And, you know, we got our baseballs and our soccers, and football is pretty big too. But you know, basketball is what our town is known for. So started playing basketball. Wasn't too good. By my sophomore year in high school, I put the work in and had a great summer and went from unranked to 15th in the nation. From there, just kept grinding. By the time I finished my senior year, I was ranked about 7th or 8th in the nation. McDonald's All-American, Jordan Brand All-American. Went on to go to Syracuse. Did 1 year there. Was the only freshman to make a Big East team. I was second team All Big East. Went on to get drafted, 28th pick in the first round to the Houston Rockets originally. Went to Houston. Later on that summer, got traded to Sacramento after basically winning MVP, Summer League MVP. And went to Sacramento, was there for 4 years. Went and broke my ankle, and then finished up in Memphis for a year. And went overseas. And I've been overseas ever since. This is just finished my 7th year overseas.
Oh, wow. So going back to Syracuse days, I know that the Syracuse are Orange. How is that like playing with Coach Boeheim and playing for Coach Boeheim? And how was that experience?
Oh, it was great. You know, Coach Boeheim, he's one of the coaches, the few coaches that really recruits you for what you can do. He doesn't really try to change your game. If anything, he just helps it and lets you go out there and really just play who you are. Of course, he has his small system, especially on the defensive end. We always run 2-3. But other than that, man, it was a great choice, I think, for me. And I recommend anybody. If you want to go play your game, try to get seen by Syracuse because Boeheim is definitely one of the best coaches of all time. So
yeah. Plus Carmelo played there too. I mean, obviously you didn't play with Carmelo, but what did you like? Syracuse, they always competed and they're always in the tournament. But what was it like? If I'm not mistaken, you played with Johnny Flynn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how is that like playing with Johnny Flynn and talk about him as a player and coming up too?
Oh, Johnny, I mean, we came up playing against each other in high school, so I knew about him before we got to Syracuse. And, he was tough. He was, I mean, they would call him small, but, I mean, he played way taller than what he was, athletic, could shoot, could pass. He really could do everything you want from a point guard. He could be that scoring point guard, or he can go out there and be a pure point guard and a pass first point guard and try to get everybody involved. So he was really well rounded at the point guard position, and he was just a dog, man. He was a dog, just flat out. Like even when we'd be off season working out in 5-on-5s in the gym or 1-on-1s, 3-on-3s, whatever it was. Johnny was trying to win, so he loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, so take me back to your draft day. So what was obviously it's great to be drafted, but what was the reaction when your family was with you and when you got drafted by the Houston Rockets?
It was nerve wracking, to be honest. I was projected coming out to be anywhere from 14th to 20th. Mm-hmm. And once you get past like 23, you don't hear your name called, you start getting nervous. I was with my agent and my manager and my little brother and my cousin. So we're just waiting to hear the call, and didn't hear it. So then finally the phone rings, and it's Houston, saying that they're gonna grab me. And after that I can relax. The huge rock came off my shoulders, and I just had a good night with my family. My grandmother. My bad.
Oh, that's okay.
But it was a good night.
Yeah. So, who was your biggest role model throughout your career in basketball? Like your biggest role model?
My mom was my biggest, role model. She passed when I was 13, but she really loved the game. And what I knew so far at that time was from my mom, and I know that just the passion that she had when she played it. So, I just kind of just went off that when I started playing. And after that, you got a lot of people you look up to. I had my freshman year, I had a guy named Jamal Smith who played in front of me. He was nice. He went to Wagner real smooth. He was kind of like a big guard. So, I looked up to him. And then you had your Mellos after that. Once Melo got on the scene, it took off. He was crazy. Tracy McGrady and Kevin Garnett. I was like a small forward, power forward type dude. So, even Dirk. Watch a little bit of Dirk. So you try to. I tell everybody I'm a versatile basketball player. You put me on the floor, I can play 2 through 5. Like it doesn't matter. That's just the type of player I was, or I am. Excuse me.
Yeah. So going back to, I just want to talk about your 3 teams real quick. With when you were playing with the Rockets and the Kings and the Grizzlies, but now I just want to get your take on them now these days, how they play like a team, but. First, with the Houston Rockets, like Westbrook and Harden, and that team, I mean, do you think they can go, if they do go to the playoffs, if they continue the season, do you see them like competing for the championship, or they need this still to?
With that, it's all about matchups, Like, they went completely opposite. They went from having a whole bunch of big dudes and Yao Ming and all that, Mutombo to, small ball. They probably would. One of the smallest teams in the league right now. At least they started 5. So, I don't know. It just depends on the matchup with them. Of course, you have the 2 MVPs and James and Russ. So, those 2 guys who really want to, go out there and win, especially win it all. So, with them, Houston, it's just all about matchups with them, who they see and how they match up. Because they're a wild card team for sure.
Yeah, and then your Sacramento Kings, they're an up-and-coming team, and they've always been an up-and-coming team. And I feel like now with all these young talent, they have to at some point they have to put it together, and I feel like they will at some point. But what do you think of Marvin Bagley as a player? If you've ever watched him,
he's a good young player. I haven't really watched him personally, but from what I've seen, I haven't really studied him. But from what I've seen, he's a good young talent. He just needs to put it together. Sometimes it takes people longer than others, but his skill and his potential is definitely there. So he's good. De'Aaron Fox is good.
Yeah.
They got Buddy coming off the bench now. I don't know about that. Maybe like a Lou Williams type deal. Just come off and get buckets. That's all you need to worry about. So they got a good young squad. I thought they were going to make the playoffs this year. I thought they were going to sneak into that 8th spot. But you never know. They still got the same guys next year, hopefully. So they could be getting busy in the West.
Mm-hmm. And then watch out for the Grizzlies, man. I love watching John Morant play. This kid has some special talent. Like Man, what do you think? The Grizzlies are building the right way. I think they have a good young coach, and they have Justin Winslow, and then John Morant, and the rest of the young pieces. What do you think of that team? Contending for the next 4 years or more.
Talented, man. Talented. John Morant is man. He's like it's like the Showtime in LA and Memphis though. Like he come out there, he's doing something crazy every night, and he's good. You got the guys on the team believing in him and letting him lead, and you can tell they like to play together. They like to have fun. So that's most of the main thing. When you can like to be around people, like be around your teammates and want to play and want to see them succeed, and you get off and all that. It goes a long way. It's more than just, who has the best player or da-da-da. When it comes down to the lesser teams, not the teams in the top tier, it comes down to, who's going to play together, who's going to have your teammates back, who's going to have his back, and, just really like a strong chemistry.
Yeah, so now, and you said that you played overseas, so if you don't mind, what was that experience like playing overseas, and then what advantages did you get from that type of game? And it's kind of different from the NBA game, but what experience did you have with that overseas?
I mean, everywhere is different. You have you have China. They're trying to mirror their league to the NBA, but everywhere else is different. So I played in China. I've been to the Philippines. The Philippines is very fast. It's up and down.
Right.
Lot smaller guys there, but they're pretty skilled, and they get up and down. Like you got to really be in some good shape to be in the Philippines. Middle East is different. You have Lebanon, who's very, very competitive as far as the Middle East is concerned. They're one of the top teams in Asia, so their league was pretty good. Saudi Arabia and Dubai, they're more just like hobby leagues. They just try to pay players a lot of money. But, still got some good players in that too. But everywhere is really different. It's nowhere that's really the same. You got some that's close to, the States, but other than that, no, everywhere has their own distinct play.
So if right now they're on all these overseas teams that they're not playing either, obviously, but when everything clears up with this coronavirus, would you consider going back to play overseas or?
No, my season is done. I know where I was playing at. It was done. But I think most of the leagues now are canceling it, and they should. I don't really know who else has anything going on specifically, but most of the leagues should be pretty much done.
Yeah, and then I saw that you had some Big Three experience, a Big Three league. So what was that like? Because that I feel like Ice Cube and Ice Cube has done a great job with that. Speaking of Ice Cube, man, I respect him a lot. He's a good actor. He does a fantastic job with everything he does. So what was that like playing in the Big Three league, getting that experience?
It was good. It was fun, man. It was dope. It gave me a chance to be back in the States and play and have family and friends come to the game. My kids ran out the tunnel with me. Like it was. And for my oldest, he grew up when I was in the NBA. He was born my rookie year, so he kind of still remembers, being in the league, and so to be able to come back and to do that with them there, it was dope. It was a lot of fun, and just the hoop experience, being able to play with guys that some of the guys I didn't get a chance to play with, but definitely, knew who they were, and some of the guys I did get a chance to play with in the league was in the league too. So it's fun, man. It's fun. Nice little league in the summertime for your family to come out to. You can get a travel too, going to different cities every weekend. So it's dope.
So can you explain, if people don't know about this Big Three league, if you don't mind, obviously it's like a half court game, not full court, but can you explain, like, was it kind of weird at first, the way they set the rules, or was it like a regular pickup game?
Yeah, it wasn't too weird. I had experience playing 3-on-3 in overseas in the Middle East, so it's in the. I believe they made it into an Olympic sport now. Like it's in the Olympics. So it's. I've seen the rules before. The 4-pointer was different for me. I've never seen that before. That was pretty. That's like Steph Curry range with the 4.
Right. Yeah.
Damian Lillard, Yeah, but other than that, man, you got to go to 50. First team to 50 by 2s and 3s. And obviously 4-pointer. And, the fouls will get a little weird. I still really don't even know the rules of the fouls. Just be careful and don't foul. But yeah, it's pretty up and down, man. It could get going. It's intense. It really is. Especially when you got big dudes out there. It's physical too. So it's fun.
Who was the jokester on your team in the Big Three League?
The jokester. Man, you got sneaky CJ, Frank Nitti, and Josh Powell. Sneaky funny stuff between them three guys on the team. Yeah, that was yeah.
So let's who's your so you keep. Oh, I think it froze. It's froze. Oh, okay, good. All right. So, okay. Yeah. So, what do you think of Luka Donte as a player coming from the Europe game?
He's good, man. You know, playing as long as he's played overseas in EuroLeague, having that experience, that's what has really helped him. It's not even about age. He's had them years over in EuroLeague, which were huge for him. Could be huge for anybody. And he's just killing it. He's on a whole nother level right now. So shout out to him.
Who do you think is the best point guard in the NBA right now?
Oh man, put me on the spot with that one, huh? Best point guard right now. I don't know, man. You want to say Steph. He's still up there even with the injury. Man. You know how I really like, though? I really like Dame Lillard. That's
Damon. Oh, he gets no respect. He needs to get more respect.
I really like Dame.
Yeah.
I mess with. Russ was in my draft class. Who else? There's plenty of other people, but who I'm rocking with right now is Dame. Lillard.
Yeah, Damon, I feel like he needs to get more respect the way he plays. He scores about 50 points a game.
Yeah.
It's like 50 points, pretty much every game, 50 points and 10 plus assists. So he needs to get more respect, in my opinion. Yeah, but here's my question here, the important question here for you. Would you ever consider coming back to the NBA playing?
It's people make it seem like I wish it was that easy. It's a lot that goes into it. When I left, when I left that first year to go to China, my focus should have been to get back into the NBA, but it wasn't. So, as time goes on, it's tougher. But right now, I'm in a good space. I'm comfortable with what I can do, what I do with my family, my kids, and everything. So, yeah. But if it was that easy, just to be like, let me go back in the NBA. Like, all right, I'm saying, make one phone call, all right, I'm back. Like, nah, it's not as easy.
Right. So what do you? So before, who was your MVP before this whole tough situation happened? Who was your MVP going into the season? During the season, and also watching from afar during the season, who was your MVP?
I was high on Anthony Davis, even though he's had but you got Braun right there with him too, so it's hard to really say, who is their team's MVP. But everybody, you could throw Giannis' name up there. You could, you got Braun still right there. Beginning of the season, it was anybody's game, to be honest. I really don't do the preseason joints. But,
right.
Yeah. So
now, obviously, back in the day, when Miami Heat started that big three, but now it's even teams with the two superstars on each team. Now, what do you think of this? Two players, well, not seeing any more big threes, but two players on each team. What do you think of that?
What you mean? Say it again.
Oh, so how back 2010 or when the Miami got that big three with LeBron, Chris Bosh, and Wade. But now now this year this offseason with mainly two superstars in each team. So at least it's a balance now. What do you think of this now with the balance?
The league's changing. I think you got a lot more. I guess you call them superstars. You got a lot more guys that can match up and make a big difference in this league. So, more guys are teaming up. It's not about the three. It's about, all right, let me team up with my boy and we go rock out and we get a couple other guys to join us. But, I think it's more competitive like that. You got your young guys that got a couple guys on the same team, and you got older guys, not older, but like the Paul Georges and the Kawhis, and even though you got AD and Bron, it's just I think it's better and it's going to be real good for the years to come.
Yeah, so obviously we saw the Clippers big two, the Lakers big two, the Houston big two, but we haven't gotten to see the Brooklyn big two. But what do you think is their ceiling for the years, for the next 2-3 years?
Hey, I don't think it is the ceiling. I mean, it just depends on how they mesh. We don't know. Like I said earlier, it's important to see how the chemistry, if you want to, how your chemistry is with not just your whole team, but with as far as the superstars are concerned, the other guy who's going to be taking most of the shots. Can y'all get along together? Can y'all, all right, I see you rocking. Go ahead. I'm going to let you rock and not do, my turn. Let me get it and shoot it. Like, it's all about chemistry. So it depends on how they mesh on the court. If they mesh and they click like they say they do, man, it could be scary for the whole league, man. So, yeah, you got to watch out for them, man. I got them winning it next year. Really?
With the full team? Yeah. Plus, they have to figure out who the next coach will be now, too, since Kenny Atkinson's is gone now. So
I think you're going to have to bring in somebody that they both like, for sure. I don't know who would that be, whether it be Tyronn Lue or, they could pluck somebody from college. You never know. So,
yeah, see, so I had, recently I had the Brooklyn Nets reporter, Christian Minfield, on, and a couple other reporters for my podcast, and I've been bringing this name up outside of the box candidate. Let me get your take on this. What do you think of Greg Popovich as a possible candidate?
Oh,
for the Nets, because he can hold.
I see him leaving San Antonio to go to Brooklyn at that. Like, I don't know. I think he's in his career where he don't really need to do. He don't need to really go anywhere. Like, I'm quite sure he can stay in San Antonio for the rest of his life. But yeah, I don't know about that one. If that happens, you get, man. You might need to get podcast of the year for that one.
Yeah,
that one. That's crazy.
I'm telling you, man. I love to put wild things out there, so I'm just.
That's pretty wild. That and like a Phil Jackson theory. Those two are probably the wildest too.
Yeah, so before I let you go, I know that it's your son's birthday, but before I let you go, I have a couple of rapid fire questions for you, and then a Kobe take, and then the front line people too. But here's a couple of rapid fire questions. Trae Young or Ja Morant, who will win the NBA championship first?
Ja Morant.
Ja Morant. Interesting. Obviously, Trae Young is young and developing also. So, do you think Trae Young will win the MVP in the next 2 years?
It's possible. Never say never. D Rose did it our year. What was that? Fourth year in the league, third year in the league.
Mm-hmm.
He did it MVP. So, anything's possible.
Like KG says, anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Yes.
So this is what I've been asking all my guests. Favorite hip hop artist back in the day and now.
Man, favorite hip hop. Well, I guess they can't say back in the day because they're still relevant now.
Yeah.
Like mine was my first hip hop artist I listened to that I was allowed to listen to because my mother was very religious, so I couldn't really listen to hip hop growing up. But the first one I was allowed to listen to was Jay-Z.
Okay.
So Jay-Z, and then it was right after that came Lil Wayne. So those two is still relevant now. So those two, I'm just gonna go ahead and those are my OGs right there. Who I'm listening to right now, Rowdy Rich is my favorite right now. That's who I'm really rocking with.
Yeah, so like when I work on my house, I listen to hip hop too. Like my favorites is Kendrick, J. Cole, Drake, and then Rick Ross, Meek Mill, all those type of. If I had to go,
oh yeah, for sure, Drake too. Yeah,
yeah. If I had to go like classic, Biggie for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So favorite food.
My favorite food.
Yeah.
Man, I'm greedy, dog. I like everything. Probably would be like teppanyaki, like Japanese. Benihana type. That'd probably be my favorite. I love like Benihana.
Favorite thing to do outside.
Favorite what? Sorry, you broke up.
Oh, favorite thing to do outside of sports.
I love to travel. I guess you say I do it all the time for work, but I love being able to travel, going to stay in different places. Like this past winter, it was my first time being able to take a winter trip. I was home with my family to take a winter trip. We went snow tubing. I went snow tubing for the first time, so that was
wow.
Yeah. So it would be traveling for me.
Favorite sports movie.
Favorite sports movie?
Yeah.
Ooh, man. I guess my cliche answer would have to be He Got Game. But, man, there's so many others. You know, the above the rims, Coach Carter's, Blue Chips. Man, it's so many of us. But, yeah, Darcy would definitely be a basketball movie, though. Or if you want to go non-basketball, I would probably say Will Smith, Pursuit of Happiness.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was the best. I love that movie. Pursuit of Happiness. Yeah, that teaches you a lot.
It do, man. It do. I was boo-hooing in there. Boo-hooing. Not even going to hold you.
So thoughts on this Michael Jordan documentary that got released yesterday, and I watched some of it too, the episode 1 and 2. Did you watch some of it, or?
I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting how they lay it. Keep bringing out facts throughout each episode, because it's going to get heavy. It's going to get real heavy because like they said, they're going all in with this. Like it's no cut. I mean, I'm quite sure there's a lot of scenes that didn't make it. Like Scotty and Jerry on the bus, I'm quite sure that was cut. Right? There's going to be some stuff that was cut, but for the most part, all of it's going to be out there. Or at least they're going to talk about it. And it's going to get deep, man. Like, I didn't know that Scotty signed that contract. I didn't know that either. What? I'm not even an agent, and I know, like, my 4th year in the league, it's no way. That was his 4th.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's 4th year in the league. There's no way I'm taking $18 million for 7 years.
That's like a baseball contract.
You get $18 million for 1 year.
Yeah, I know.
1 year, you supposed to what? Nah.
I was shocked when I heard that, because that's like a baseball contract.
He was the 6th best player in the league, they said at that time?
I think 6th best player.
Come on, man. That's at least, even back then, that's at least minimum 18 a year. For sure. 18. But Michael was making at that time, only 30? He made his taxes was 33, so Pip could have got 20, between 20 and 25, for real. But dude, I don't know how the salary cap was. Back then. Yeah,
I don't know, but I have to look it up. But 7 years, the contract in the NBA, that's crazy. That's nuts.
But as an owner, too, though, you're supposed to, after the 3rd championship, you're supposed to be like, all right, Scotty, let's go ahead and restructure. You're like, he said, I told him not to sign it. Like, no, man, out of really, like, just being genuine good people, you could have restructured his contract. I know you might have lost a couple more millions, but man, you could have done it. That would have been the right thing to do. That's what, I would have done. Just trying to do right, man. You got to live right.
Yeah, speaking of Scottie Pippen, I'm trying to get him on the podcast, so I messaged him, but he didn't answer yet. Probably he's busy with all this stuff going on with the documentary.
Yeah, you asked the wrong time. You should have came up about 2-3 months ago. You would have been.
Yeah. But
stuff now.
Yeah, so I always ask all my guests that come on the show about the late Kobe Bryant, of just devastating what happened to him, the rest of the people, and especially his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna. So I got this Girl Dash shirt for them. So I just want to get your take, because he was one of my role models growing up, watching him play for the Lakers, and then you had the opportunity to play against him. So what was that like? And can you tell about what he meant to you, what he meant to the game, and what he meant to everybody around the world?
Man, he meant a lot, man. He, for me, I was young when Mike was really coming up and killing, but I was fortunate to be able to go back and look at film and really like listen to people, but mostly just go back and watch and be like, man, Mike really dominated. But Kobe was all me. Like I seen young Kobe got a chance to play against him and before he retired. So, that Kobe was our Michael Jordan. He was the closest thing I think to Michael Jordan. And man, he was just him on the court. Mm-hmm. People got two perspectives of him on the court. Even while he was on the court, everybody thought he was arrogant and cocky. And like when I came across him, it was always love and respect. Would never try to talk trash to Kobe. Just sit there, and if he wanted to talk, he'll talk. So, a couple times during the game, I might have made a move on the offensive end. And when we came back and the ball, it was like a dead ball, he'd be like, hey, young fella, do this next time instead of trying to do all this. He'll drop some gems, drop some dimes in the game to you.
Oh, wow.
Or even on defense when you're playing them. Hey, that was good. You knew I was going this way or that way, da-da-da. Like, he'll talk to you if you respect him, he'll know when you out there just playing hard, playing aggressive. I'm not playing scared, I'm not backing down, but I'm also just, I'm not boasting about nothing. I'm just doing my job. I'm out there hooping. So, I definitely earned Kobe's respect after that.
And especially his 13-year-old daughter, man, like especially John, like she modeled everything after him, and she had the fadeaway shot already at 13 years old, and she was destined to be at UConn, her favorite college. So that is just sad to see. But Mamba mentality, man, that lives on, and I always put Mamba mentality next to my workout videos when I post it because it means a lot to me. Meaning, it means like do not give up, keep pushing, work hard. So what does Mamba mentality mean to you?
Giving 110%. And whatever you do, like really giving it your all. If you're going to decide to do something, we're going to do it. We're going to run through a wall, flip a car over, do whatever you got to do to finish it, but we're going to finish it. So when you put your Mamba mentality into something, which you should do everything you do, but, you put it on, it has to go. There's no stopping, there's no quitting.
So the last thing here, would you like to say anything to the frontline people that helping us out right now in this tough situation?
Oh man, thank you so much. Wish you guys had a lot more support. We still got crazies out here running around, but the people that are staying home and listening to the rules and everything, we thank you guys. We appreciate you guys. Wouldn't be here without you. So thanks.
Well said. So I just want to say thank you for coming on the podcast, especially on your son's birthday. Happy birthday to your son again, Dallas. I hope he has a good one. So, I mean, it's just an honor talking to you today on the podcast, and I've been following you for a long time, so continue the hard work, keep pushing, and you and your family stay safe, and we'll talk again soon.
All right, man. Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
All right. Yeah.